Mr. Schulz, good morning. You are the leader of the S&D group in the European Parliament. Today and tomorrow, it's a key, crucial period, time for the European Union. There is a summit where EU leaders are going to decide on the fate of the euro and the eurozone. So what do you think would be a decisive action to be taken today or tomorrow to save the euro?
I think what we need are clear decisions about the role of the European Central Bank. Is the European Central Bank for some member states of the Eurozone a kind of lender of last resort? In my eyes, yes, but then we should confirm it. We should secondly decide how far reaching the measures taken by the ECB could be. This is necessarily because the board of the central bank must know what is the position of the member states. Secondly, we need a decision about the question of euro bonds, and in the case there will be no euro bonds because Germany is against, then they should explain us what they proposed, Merkel and Sarkozy, by saying we anticipate the European stability mechanism to open questions. Is it to anticipate it with a bank license, and the ESM then could act as a bank and give money to the states in risk to appropriated interest rates or not? And these are the things I expect. It is a pity. The tendencies in preparing this summit is not to deal with these items, but with the treaty change.
Exactly. So very much is positioned on the treaty change right now. We have seen the letter presented yesterday by Chancellor Merkel and President Sarkozy. So are you against a treaty change?
Yeah, clearly yes, and not alone. The Social Democrats or me alone. All groups in the European Parliament, I repeat, all groups in the European Parliament will send President Buzek tomorrow to the Council's meeting with the message we are against the treaty change because it is not necessary. It is just 7 weeks ago when we endorsed the so-called six-pack that we heard from the Council this is a historical breakthrough. And now 7 weeks later, the same people tell us, the markets didn't accept the historical breakthrough, now we need a treaty change. These are not the necessary measures. A treaty change is not necessary. The means, the Germans especially, wish for more budgetary discipline are already available.
Do you think there is an ambiguity in the way they are presenting a solution? I'm talking about Sarkozy and Merkel.
There is no ambiguity, there is a contradiction. Sarkozy wants more flexibility of the European Central Bank and Merkel not. And Merkel wishes more budgetary discipline, and there's Sarkozy against. So the so-called German couple is in reality German-French. The German-French couple is in reality a German-French disaccord, and permanently, by the way.
Now, for the intervention of the ECB, you're talking about a more, turning the ECB into measures that would be a last resort. Would that goes a little bit against the Treaty of Maastricht, and for that the ECB already said if there is movement towards a fiscal union, then we will consider. How do you manage this situation?
First things first is the message of the Danish presidency. If the member states of the European Union agree about a stability mechanism in kind of a form of European monetary fund, from which you can lend money to normal interest rates, and if such a decision is taken on the Council, then a treaty change for more budgetary discipline, especially for those countries who get now the money, let's say for 2% instead of 7%, and to avoid that this money is spent for consumption and used for reduction of the sovereign debt, then it makes sense. But to say budgetary discipline exclusively by ideological reasons without the necessary measures on the other side, especially investments in growth, makes no sense. And that's the reason why it is unbalanced what is on the table.
You're basically criticizing Merkel.
No, I'm criticizing the European Council. Chancellor Merkel is acting with a lot of power. But why is Chancellor Merkel so strong? For sure, because the Germans are economically very powerful. But there are 26 other members, mostly men, in the European Council sitting around the table. And I wonder if one single person can be so strong only because she is so strong, or because the others are perhaps not strong enough.
Do you think we are seeing right now, I mean, Thomas Mann, the famous phrase, a German Europe, but a European Germany. What are we actually seeing right now, in your opinion? More of a German Europe or a European Germany?
We are in an undecided situation. I don't believe that Europe at the end will be exclusively dominated by Germany. Germany is dominating for the time being, a lot of debates. But I trust to the responsibility of the German government and of other governments. The European institutions, the so-called communitarian method on which the European Union are acting and are built, is not an invention to torture people or to reduce the importance of countries. It was created because within communitarian institutions, big, middle-sized and small member states find a balance, can balance their very heterogeneous interests, instead to put the strong states in front of less stronger and giving them orders or lessons. This is always counterproductive. This is a little bit the mood in which we are, the German-French couple always acting beside the institutions and then sending letters to the institutions and not asking, but giving more or less instructions what they have to do. And this is for the time being possible because the others are so weak. But on the long run, this is completely counterproductive, and therefore I repeat what I said.
No, I'm going to ask you the question.
Mm-hmm.
So looking a little bit long term, and in 2012, you're going probably to lead this institution, the European Parliament, in the next 2.5 years in the run-up to the elections in 2014. What would you think would be your high task, major task?
To guarantee, first of all, the democratic transparency in the European Union. The European Parliament is the place where all the questions we raised have to be discussed openly. The Council, the Commission, Merkel, Sarkozy, everybody is dealing behind closed doors. We must open the doors, and we must give a visibility for our citizens what is going on in the European Union and why and who is behind the decision making. This is the first task. The second is that whatever is decided about executive measures in the European Union needs a democratic accountability. And the place of accountability is the European Parliament. And I think I will raise my voice in front of the 27 mindful or less mindful people in Europe by saying we are the place of European democracy.
Last question. Do you think possible the breakup of the Eurozone and disintegration of the EU, as some are foreseeing?
That would be a disaster. I think whatever we should do must have a goal to keep Europe united. And the Eurozone and the member states not yet in the Eurozone. And I give you an example about I'm speaking. The most growing economy in Europe is Poland. It's not a member state of the Euro, but Prime Minister Tusk announced we want to join the Euro, which is a good signal for the Euro because the most dynamic economy wants to join our common currency. This is in such a way you see how counterproductive, how wrong it is to split the European Union. That means to exclude a country like Poland, but this is not historically only wrong, it is economically a mistake. Therefore, I hope that the responsible people keep the union together.
Thank you.